music, fashion,
dark.
art.
20 years ago, I was coming up to an interesting, for me anyway, kind of dovetail of time, because I'd been working for the previous 7 years or about thereabouts with Derek Jarman, which was how I started to work. I started to work in cinema, and he was getting ill around about that time. He started to get ill in '89. So I was sort of beginning to come out of what I call Jarmania. Jarmania was sort of beginning to wind down. Derek was becoming less productive because he wasn't well, and so I was beginning to sort of look up out of the garden and wonder what was going to happen to me when he stopped working altogether. So that was it, the interesting point for me. Yeah, I think I was on the verge of going back to being a gambler in 20 years ago.
Oh, when I was 20, I was in college, and I was much more closed off and much more conservative. I hadn't really blossomed. So I was trying to fit in and to hide my, I guess, truth, because I felt it was dangerous to expose it because the world didn't seem ready for it. And I wasn't ready to fight to be myself at that point, which I think was wise, actually, because you can only be as strong as you can be, and at that time I didn't have the skills or the support network to really be myself.
I never intended to be a performer, and so when I started working with him, I kind of found this way of living, really, and way of making work with a group, which I then realized when it came to an end was pretty spectacularly unique and was hard to find again, and I've never really found it since. So it was, but it wasn't something I was looking for. I wasn't looking for satisfaction, if you like. I was looking for company and found it in that world, and found a way of avoiding becoming a professional in any capacity.
When I graduated from college, I started working as an actor because I had trained to be a commercial professional actor, and I realized I just couldn't do that. So I was living in Washington, D.C. at the time, and a girlfriend called me and said, "You have got to move to San Francisco." And so I said, "All right." And I got myself fired from my job, and I had, so I could collect unemployment, and I had a watch, and it's the last watch I ever owned, and I was driving up the whatever road outside of Washington, D.C., and I was going over a bridge, and I threw my watch in the Potomac River and swore to myself I would never be a slave to the clock again, and I never have.